Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Well with Anika. Today we're going to actually talk about keeping a calendar, especially for caregivers in the sandwich generation. Not keeping a calendar with everyone's schedule is a common mistake that most caregivers make, especially those that are in the sandwich generation because you're dealing with your loved one's calendar as well as your children's calendar. So if you're interested in learning how to avoid the chaos of overlapping appointments and possible missed events, stay tuned for the entire video. So if you're going to keep sane in the world of the sandwich generation, it's only possible when you get ahead of your to-do list. It's important that you must keep a calendar with you and post it on the wall where you can see it on a regular basis. Most of the time, your child's school schedule is pretty much set for the year. So what I do is I'll go in, once I get that calendar, it's normally over the summertime before school starts. I'll plug in all of the dates for the parent-teacher conferences, PTO activities, the games if your child participates in school sports, recitals, concerts, and days out of school. All of those things make a difference when you're scheduling appointments for your loved one and wanting to be present for your child at home. So what I often do is use my cell phone to plug in dates and set reminders for when those dates are coming up. And sometimes I'll do it 24 to 48 hours ahead of time to kind of give me a reminder. So I'll have a chime go off. And the note for, and a reminder just went off, that's so funny. And so a note for that particular date that I'll set may say, class recital coming up 2 days from that date, and so it just gives me time to actually think about what it is that's coming up so I don't overlap an appointment or prematurely say, yes, I can do that and not really know. So it's always important to kind of really check your schedule. So for me, before you say yes to anything, so for me, it's really like just going on my phone, looking in my calendar and seeing what I have for that day. And once you do that, before you commit to something, it keeps you from double booking yourself or overlapping appointments for your children and your loved one. I also keep a very large calendar right across from my bed in my bedroom. And I don't know if that's the best place to put it, but when I get up in the morning, I can actually see my wall calendar. And it's a really pretty big one. It's one that people use on their desk a lot of the times to jot down different things. And so with all the different things I have going on, because I have clients to see in the salon, I have days that the store needs to be open. I have times that I need to get my mom to the doctor, and then my son or other appointments or procedures. And then my son has his events as well, or recitals or games. So I've actually gone and color coded some of the squares with highlighter markers. That helps me understand whose day is what when I'm getting up. Sometimes when you get up, you're like, okay, what day is it? When do I get a day to myself? But when I just take a glance at that calendar, as soon as I get out of bed, I can wake up and know like, oh, okay, so it's purple, it's mom's day, but why is she on a Tuesday? What's going on? So it prompts me to pick up my phone or get closer to the calendar so I can actually read what's going on. So I'll highlight the square, but in pencil, I'll write in what we actually have to do and what time we need to get there. Another thing you'll want to do ahead of time is to schedule all your children's well child visits and dental appointments. My son is in braces right now, so we go to the dentist quite often. Well child checks are generally once a year, so you can plug all of those in too. Your loved one's calendar can be a little easier to manage once you put your child's schedule in, of all of their events. This allows you to say for certainty when their appointments and procedures can be scheduled. So if I can suggest something, try pinpointing a day that belongs to your loved one. A lot of times I will just give my mom Mondays. Monday is my day off where I won't have appointments. Our store is closed. My son is in school. So I can pinpoint that day for her. So, and it's for whatever she needs, appointments, if we need to run around to the store, procedures, different things like that. When she needs a follow-up procedure or something, we know it's always on Monday. And since I have everything color-coded, pretty much that's for her day. But some doctors or specialists are not that flexible to give us Monday appointments all the time. And so it may not be possible to just pinpoint that day. So I always try to shoot for the earliest appointment possible so I don't lose my entire day when scheduling appointments for my mom. And so, in keeping this calendar on my wall, and you can also color code in your telephone, you can actually give appointments colors as well. And when I keep the calendar, if I see that there's a Tuesday or a Thursday that has purple around it, which is my mom's color, I will really pay attention to that and say, hey, what do we have going on that day that my mom needs attention for? Did I go ahead and make notes in the store's open and close time so people know that the store is not going to be open? Make sure I didn't schedule anybody for that day. It just gives me a chance to go back and make sure I did everything I needed to do, for taking that appointment for my mom. And so most of the time, if I'm checking ahead of time before we commit to that day and time, I'll look at my calendar on my phone because it's always with me. But I don't always translate that in enough time to my calendar on the wall. So the calendar in your phone is going to be the main calendar. It's going to be your friend. So in a perfect world, you can really look at your monthly schedule and decide when you're going to be able to do a little something extra for yourself, like a date night with your spouse or a girls' night out with your girlfriends. And if that type of activity isn't possible, you still want to continue to implement daily self-care practices. This will keep you from getting overwhelmed and burnt out. Some self-care practices could include like stretching, meditation, journaling, walking, adult coloring books. I like to do those sometimes right after work just to decompress. Reading a novel while you're in the car waiting on your loved one's appointment, or even putting a puzzle together, or simply just having a cup of some CBD tea. So whatever it takes to make you feel good, do that in the interim, in between appointments and procedures and you're working. You still have to get that self-care in, okay? All right, well, I hope this gave you an idea on how to manage your schedule better as a caregiver in the sandwich generation. And if so, try subscribing to our channel. And if you'd like, share it with another caregiver friend. And until next time, be well.